Hi, welcome to this channel. I'm going to be talking about something that is sad, and at the same time is sort of something that will also make us more conscious as a society, because the Ooni of Ife mentioned something while standing in solidarity with his ex-wife Olori Naomi Ogunwusi. He said that this is not the first time that this woman would do such events. You know, even prior to her marriage to the Ooni of Ife back in 2018, Olori Naomi was the founder, had a church, she had several foundations that she was running and all that. And subsequently, since her leaving the palace, she's also continued to do things like this in and out in Eleyele, in Akure. But this year, she decided to bring it to Ibadan, Oyo State, Nigeria. Now, it is said that the Olori has collapsed. We earlier heard that the chairman of Agidigbo FM, that is Oriyomi Hamzat, was in the hospital, but it seemed like that's not true. But we have it now from sources that Olori Naomi Ogunwusi is currently hospitalized. She was arrested, following the event that happened on the 18th of December 2024 that sought the loss of over 35 lives and about 7 more injured, right? She was arrested alongside the principal of the school and about 6 other persons. They were in police custody. The investigation was taken over by the Inspector General of Police in Nigeria, Kayode. So it's now a federal situation. So she collapsed. She's currently getting treatment at the police hospital in Eleyele area of Ibadan, Oyo State. Now, having said all of these things, I actually want us to talk about Oriyomi Hamzat, because a lot of persons seem to believe that the program was organized by Agidigbo FM. It took Agidigbo coming out to say, we were not the organizers, we just hosted the organizer, that is Olori Naomi. We just hosted her on one of our events in the radio station, and that was how a lot of persons even got to know about it, which resulted in so many persons spending the night at the venue. Yeah, a lot of persons were there since the 17th of December. The program was supposed to happen, or it happened on the 18th of December, and by evening we were recording several deaths and losses, right? So some people even spent the night there because they knew that they were going to be crowded and they wanted to be in front, so they slept there overnight. What happened was, she was a guest on that radio program hosted by the chairman of Agidigbo himself, Oriyomi Hamzat. So a lot of persons felt like, oh, since they know Oriyomi Hamzat to be to be a philanthropist, to be somebody who owns several organizations, his radio station typically is fond of giving people gifts. So a lot of persons felt like, oh, this is another of Oriyomi Hamzat's program or Hamzat's good deed. So they were there, and it was called, they tagged it thinking it was Oriyomi Hamzat. Now, I want us to talk about Oriyomi Hamzat himself. I want us to talk about his deed, and you know that, interestingly, this is not the first time that this man's good deeds will land him in trouble. Now, if I say his good deed lands him in trouble, you might think about the Timothy Adegoke situation with Adedoyin that happened in Ilé-Ife. What's going on? What is with Oriyomi Hamzat and Ilé-Ife, Oyo State? If you recall, in 2022, he was actively involved in seeking justice for the late Timothy Adegoke that was found dead in one of the hotels in Ilé-Ife, Oyo State. Actually, what is the result of that situation up to today? Because Oriyomi Hamzat gave us a lot of follow-up, but that is not even what I'm talking about. I know he was, arrested then, but he was released almost immediately. But back in 2017, Oriyomi Hamzat was in a situation because of his good deeds. Now, he has always had a foundation, Hope for All Foundation, this one Oriyomi Hamzat, this one foundation, and that one foundation. So back then, he had a foundation, and it was like a home for underprivileged children who needed places to stay, and a child died. So he was on trial for murder. Yes, this is not the first time his good deeds will cause him this much trouble. Currently, did you know that they have shut down Agidigbo FM? If you do not know, I am telling you now, this is not the first time, because even then, back in 2017, it was not a terrestrial radio station. They didn't have a physical location. It was an online radio, right? It was Agidigbo radio, but it was online before they became Agidigbo FM, right? So then, it was already it's been in the broadcasting space since forever. We are going to get into that. But let me just quickly finish this 2017 issue that dragged until 2022. That was when he was exonerated. He was in prison for more than 6 months while all of this was happening. Yes. So a child had died in their care. According to him, in an interview he granted in 2023, he mentioned that event and said that was one of the things that shaped his life. And he said if that event had not happened, he is not sure he's going to be where he is currently. Anyways, what happened? According to him, he said that in that, like I mentioned, they had a home and one of the children had fallen sick in the middle of the night. So they had rallied round the, caretakers. They had put the child in a vehicle and were trying to transport him to the hospital for adequate attention. Meanwhile, they did not know that the child had taken his last breath in the vehicle with them. When they got to a police stop point, they were like, oh, we have a sick child. We are trying to rush to the hospital. Please do not delay us. Let us go. Now, the police tried to look at the child and they realized the child was lifeless. And that was how he got into trouble. They arrested him. He said he walked in the next morning himself, hoping to resolve the whole thing. But no, because according to him, the government already had a vendetta against him. They already were thinking ill of him and all of those things. They decided to capitalize on that and take his freedom from him. So he said from there he couldn't return home. He was tried to court. He was remanded for over 6 months before it was granted bail, but he still had court appearances. He was going to court, and the whole thing dragged on for 6 years. So from 2017, count it with me, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 was when the issue, towards the end of 23, towards the end of 23, of 22 rather, towards the end of 2022 was when the situation got, when everybody was exonerated. The case wasn't just dismissed, it was acquitted, free of all charges, so he became a free man finally. But he said the time he lost his freedom for about 6 months was one of the worst things for him, and he wouldn't wish that on anybody. So that is the first time this is good deed would massively put him in trouble. So all of the times you've seen him being an activist, you've seen him speak up against evil, it's not because he's trying to get recognition. But yeah, granted that somebody that had that sort of situation and had his name, his name dragged in the mud like that, he would need something to bring himself back, which is why he now intensified his efforts, his activism, his good deeds and all that, and now he is a well-known name, such that the Olori of the former Olori, who is also still the people's Olori, right, would organize an event, excuse me, people, such that the Olori of the Olori, and Olori actually would organize an event, and because she granted an interview hosted by Oriyomi Hamzat, everybody would think the event belonged to Oriyomi Hamzat. Do you understand what's going on? So yeah, I just wanted to clear the air to let you know that it wasn't Hamzat that organized the event. It was Ogunwusi Olori Naomi, who is also now currently hospitalized. Oriyomi Hamzat has come out to say, oh, I am not in the hospital, I'm fine, and all of those things. But yeah, according to report, they said both of them were actually rushed to the hospital, and Oriyomi Hamzat, is fine, but Olori Naomi is still sick. Now, speaking some more about Oriyomi Hamzat, let's talk about what this man is. How did he even get how did he get to this level of, should I say, fame now, or philanthropical work, such that people are beginning to ask different questions like, okay, what was the intention behind it? Because the Ooni of Ife have said if you want to host such events much later, you should try and ensure that measures are in place for safety and all that. But you know that in about 3 days now, we've heard of some other stampede situation in other parts of the country. Yes, one happened in Anambra and another happened in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. So it's not like it's an Ibadan-based situation. It's more of a lack of organization, I think, or situational awareness or something. I don't even know what, because these people did all of these things with genuine intention, I believe, right, to just give back to people. But then the way with which they go about it, and the Olori Naomi's event now, they needed about 5,000 children. They had over 7,500 children, and the school premises they used actually would be able to contain that amount of crowd, ideally. But it had just one entrance, a very small gate at that. So imagine a lot of people trying to push themselves in at a time, and they're all trying to get to the front. So they would be one of the very first persons to get the gifts and whatever, and be able to go back in line to get some more. Just put that into perspective, right? You can imagine that there is no way it would have ended if there were not enough persons to what was the word now? In fact, no, put 10 children. Just tell 10 children to line up. I want to give you something and see how those 10 will struggle. In a big space, see how they will struggle, you know. So it's just, if you don't have enough things in place, situations like this will definitely occur over and over and over again, like we've seen happen in other parts of Nigeria. In Anambra, in Okija, they actually said that it was old women that they were gifting, and so we've lost some old women, you know, in this part of the world. It's just sad overall. But yeah, Oriyomi Hamzat has been in the broadcasting space now for a very long time. Did you know that he is from a lineage of journalism? His father was Oyo Hamzat of NCA. Did you know that? So this man, his father was there. He said that was one of the things that even, you know, piqued his interest, you know, that made him pick interest in journalism. He saw his father do all of those amazing things, and then he went to school. He studied mass communications, although he did study geology at first before mass communication, and then in 2023 he studied linguistics and in the University of Ibadan. That is like all of his education. He was born in Ibadan, raised in Ibadan, and all of those things. His education all in Ibadan, Oyo State. He's based in Ibadan, Oyo State. He's lived all his life in Ibadan, Oyo State. He's worked with PCOS. He's worked with Federal Radio Corporation. He's worked with the Guardian newspaper. Where else has he worked? I mean, he's done all of these amazing things before he now decided to start his own Agidigbo radio, and he's popularly known for that program Kokoro Alate. Because I feel like that is what you people know Oriyomi Hamzat as, the man that will ask you to bend see mic. You know, we see all of these short video clips of his programs where he's trying to help people, and he said it's not something he intends to stop. This is just an unfortunate incident that happened, but this is also not directly linked to him. It was just the media partner, so to say, for that event. It wasn't the organizer. But yeah, his radio station is shut down now. I'm afterwards to him when this whole thing is, are we going to say when justice is served or when this whole situation dies down? What is the right term to use in this case? Do you understand? Is this injustice to the children that are no longer with us here? Or to the parents, or is this unfairness in the part of the government probing the organizers of this show? We hope Olori Naomi is safe, you know, she's fine and she recovers well, and of course we hope Oriyomi Hamzat also, because I can't imagine anybody who is directly involved with organizing these events that will not feel shaken one way or the other, regardless of how strong they might be. So yeah, we are hoping they get stronger, and I don't know, are we expecting a restitution sort of from them, or a do-over or a do-again? I really don't know. I would like to hear from you in the comment section concerning that. I just wanted to talk about Oriyomi Hamzat and how, you know, what people know him, has some few things about him that you might not know, and how he's linked to this event with Olori Naomi. And also, do you remember I said the last time that people are saying it seems like Oni and Olori are back together low-key? Because ordinarily, since Naomi broke up with this king in December of 2021, he has not done anything that has to do with how he has ignored it. The palace has ignored it. They have massively ignored even Tadenikawo's birthday. But following this Ojajamo situation that happened in Oyo State, that had people feel like, oh, maybe there's some sort of rapport between them, or maybe some love thing is still going on between them. You're seeing the Oni now coming to the defense of Chilekunwola. I just want us to look at that. I promise I'm not trying to dig for trouble, right? Anyways, let me hear from you in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. If there are anything interesting about Oriyomi Hamzat that I did not mention, you can also let me know in the comment section. Oh, you saw how that rhymed. All right, guys. Bye. Subscribe.